Hello student, in this video we will discuss class 12 biology chapter number 8, that is human health and disease. And in this chapter we will discuss some types of disease, types of immunity, and about drug and alcohol abuse. So come to chapter number 8, human health and disease. So to understand health and disease, first we will come to health. So according to World Health Organization, health means not only the absence of disease, but a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. That is, if we are physically fit, free from any kind of disease, and mentally and socially well-being, then we can be considered as healthy. And if we are healthy, we know that we can live longer. Not only that, infant and maternal mortality rate will also decrease. So question is, how can we remain healthy? So to remain healthy, regular exercise and balanced diet is a must. In addition to this, personal hygiene is also required. And not only this, we should have all the basic knowledge about different kind of diseases, about vaccination, and about safe disposal of waste also. Above this, we should have to maintain hygienic food and water reservoir also. Only then we can remain healthy. Okay. But our health can also be affected in different ways. So there are three ways by which our health can be affected. So these three ways are genetic disorder, infection, and lifestyle. Genetic disorder, actually it is inborn. That is, our health may be affected from birth because of the genetic makeup that we inherit from our parents. Infection, when you come to infection, we know that our health can be infected from time to time by different kinds of disease-causing organism. For example, we are now facing severe effect from COVID-19, and this is due to infection from coronavirus. Next, come to lifestyle. Our health can also be affected by how we live, that is, from what we eat, from what we drink, and so on. Some examples are diabetes and hypertension. So when our health is affected, we know that it leads to abnormal condition of our body function. Then at that time we will say that we are suffering from a disease. So question is, what is a disease? So disease, actually it is a condition in which the function of our body part become abnormal. And this disease can be either congenital or acquired. If I say congenital, it means the genetic disorder which we acquire, which we inherit from our parents. Now come to acquire. It is a disease that we get during the lifetime, and this acquire can be either infectious or non-infectious. If I say infectious, then it is a disease which can be transmitted from person to person. Example, typhoid, AIDS. And if I say non-infectious, it means the disease cannot be transmitted from person to person. Example, diabetes and cancer. Now let's see some common infectious disease in human. Here we will discuss some types of diseases, their causal organism, symptom, mode of transmission, and if you know the mode of transmission, then you can easily assume how to prevent the disease. Okay. So come to bacterial disease. Here we will discuss two diseases. One is typhoid and one is pneumonia. Here I have given you a table also, okay, so that you can easily study the point. Now come to typhoid. Typhoid, it is also known as enteric fever, and it is caused by Salmonella typhi. And this pathogen enter the body through contaminated food and water. Then this pathogen will enter into small intestine and then migrate to other body part through blood. And the infection of this bacteria can lead to high fever, weakness, stomach pain, loss of appetite, constipation, headache, weakness, etc. And this typhoid can be confirmed by Widal test. And there is one interesting case related to typhoid. A lady by the name Mary Mellon worked as a cook, and she was asymptomatic typhoid carrier. What? She was asymptomatic typhoid carrier, and she was believed to have infected people through the food she prepared. And because of this, Mary Mellon was given a nickname, that is Typhoid Mary. Okay, so come to next, this that is pneumonia. Pneumonia, it is caused by Staphylococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae, and this pathogen enter our body by inhaling the droplet or aerosol or by sharing glass or utensil with the infected person. This pathogen enter into the respiratory tract until it reaches the alveoli of the lungs. Okay, then it will infect the alveoli, filling it with fluid or mucus, which lead to what? Difficulty in breathing. And some other symptoms are fever, cough, headache, and proper exchange of gases does not take place in the alveoli, and even the lips and fingernail turn gray to bluish in color. Okay. So this is about bacterial disease. Next viral disease come to common cold. Common cold is caused by rhinovirus, and this virus enter the body through inhalation of droplet from infected person or through contaminated objects. And this virus usually attack nose and respiratory pathway, but it does not infect the lungs. So here I will remind one important point. In case of pneumonia, lungs is infected, but in case of common cold, lungs is not infected. And some other symptoms are nasal congestion, excessive nasal discharge, sore throat, cough, headache, tiredness, which can last for about 3 to 7 days. Next, come to chikungunya and dengue fever. These two diseases is transmitted by carrier or vector, that is Aedes mosquito. And chikungunya is caused by chikungunya virus, and dengue is caused by flavirovirus. And symptom is almost same for both the disease, and it includes what? Sudden onset of fever. And other symptoms are crippling joint pain, conjunctivitis are some other symptom of chikungunya, and headache, muscle and joint pain, loss of appetite, nausea are some other symptom of dengue. So this is something about viral disease. Next, come to helminthic disease. These helminthic include platyhelminthes and nematoda, a group of animal. And under this heading, we will discuss ascariasis and elephantiasis. Now come to ascariasis. This disease is caused by Ascaris lumbricoid, and here the pathogen usually enter the body as egg. It may be through contaminated food, water, or even soil. And usually infection takes place inside the small intestine, which may result in blockage of intestinal pathway, and it may lead to abdominal or muscular pain. There may be internal bleeding. It may lead to nausea and even headache. So these are some of the symptoms for ascariasis. Next, come to elephantiasis. This elephantiasis is also known as filariasis, and this is caused by a parasitic worm by the name Wuchereria bancrofti or Wuchereria malayi, and it can be transmitted from person to person through a vector. That vector is female Culex mosquito. And when this worm enter the body, they usually affect the lymphatic system in the body. And we know that this lymphatic system is actually responsible for removing the toxic waste from the body. But because of this worm, there is a lot of damage to our lymphatic system, and this is what causes the swelling. And this swelling may take place in the leg, scrotum, and even other part of the body. Okay, so this is something about ascariasis and elephantiasis. Next, come to fungal disease, that is ringworm. As the name indicates, ringworm is not caused by any kind of worm, but it is one of the most highly infectious fungal disease of the skin or scalp. And this ringworm is also known as dermatophytosis. And this particular disease is caused by fungi by the name Mycosporum or Trichophyton or Epidermophyton. These are different types of fungi which can cause ringworm. And the infection can be acquired from soil or by using material of infected person. And some symptoms of ringworm are dry scale, lesion on skin, nail on the surface of head, and these lesions are also followed by itching. Next, come to protozoan disease, that is malaria. Malaria, we know that is one of the most life-threatening disease, and this disease is caused by a type of parasite known as Plasmodium. And this plasmodium can be transmitted from one person to another person through a vector, and that vector is Anopheles mosquito. And there are 5 parasitic species that can cause malaria, and one of them, that is Plasmodium falciparum, is the greatest killer of all human beings all over the world. And some common symptoms of malaria are chill, fever, sweating, which usually occur after a few days after being bitten by the mosquito. So these are some points related to ringworm and malaria. Now, to understand how malaria is transmitted from one person to another person, let us study the life cycle of Plasmodium. And to understand the life cycle of Plasmodium, look at the picture given here. So what happened at the initial stage when this carrier mosquito bite a normal human being, along with this bite, they inject the infective stage of Plasmodium, that is sporozoid. And when this sporozoid, that is the parasite, enter into the human body, they first attack the liver cell. And in the liver cell, what happened? Asexual reproduction takes place, which result in the production of number of parasites, and thus the liver cell will be simultaneously destroyed. And all the parasites are again released into the bloodstream. And in the blood, what happened? This parasite attack RBC, and in this RBC, again asexual reproduction takes place, resulting in the production of a number of parasites, and thus RBC is also simultaneously destroyed. And when this RBC break down, the breaking down of RBC will be associated with the release of a chemical substance by the name hemozoin. And this hemozoin is responsible for recurring chill and high fever from time to time during malaria. After that, some of the parasite may attack other RBC cell also, and some parasite are transformed into another stage, that is gametocyte in the RBC. So when another mosquito suck blood from infected individual, this gametocyte will enter into the mosquito. And in the mosquito, what happens? These gametocytes are transformed into gametes, and then fertilization takes place. That is, sexual reproduction takes place in their alimentary canal. After this, after fertilization, what is formed? Sporozoid will be produced, and this sporozoid is again stored in the salivary gland. And when this mosquito bite another human being, then this sporozoid will be transferred. Like this, the parasite is transmitted from person to person. So from this life cycle, we know that this Plasmodium, to complete their life cycle, they require 2 hosts. First host is Anopheles mosquito, second host is human being. And here some question can be asked also. This parasite will enter into human being at what stage? And that stage is sporozoid. And the parasite also enter into mosquito, in which stage? Gametocyte. In case of human being, which type of reproduction takes place? Asexual. And in case of mosquito, which type of reproduction takes place? Sexual. And in case of human being, this parasite will attack liver cell and RBC cell. And in case of mosquito, it does not infect any body part. So this is something about the life cycle of Plasmodium. And if you understand the life cycle of Plasmodium, then you can easily know how malaria is transmitted from one person to another person. Preventive measure. Let's see the common preventive measure for any kind of disease. Okay, so common preventive measures are personal public hygiene, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruits, proper disposal of waste, as well as excreta. And for waterborne diseases, in addition to this common preventive measure, there should be periodic cleaning of reservoir, pool, cesspool, and tank. For airborne disease, again, in addition to this common preventive measure, we have to avoid close contact with infected person and their belongings. And for foodborne disease, in addition to these common preventive measures, we have to observe standard practice of hygiene in public catering. And for vector-borne disease, the most important thing is that we have to eliminate the vector and their breeding place, and we have to avoid stagnation of water. We have to clean the household cooler. We have to use mosquito nets, and spraying of insecticide is important. And this vector can also be easily controlled by the introduction of fish known as gambusia in pond, because this gambusia feeds on mosquito larvae. Okay, so this is something about preventive measure. So when you study this chapter, about disease. Okay, you study like this. First, try to know the types of microbes. Okay, then you should know the name of disease, their causal organism, symptom, then mode of transmission. And if you know the mode of transmission, then you can easily assume this preventive measure. Okay, so before we wind up, let me give you a summary of what we have learned in this class. So in this class, we have learned about different types of diseases, their causal organism, symptoms, mode of transmission, and preventive measure. Okay, so this brings me to the end of this class, and thank you very much for your attention.